There we go. I'm sorry. Yeah, I've been talking this whole fucking time.
Yeah. We're not stable.
Good morning, Lilith. How are you? I'm sorry. Thank you for
we
bringing
both
that
said good
to
morning,
my...
and we've been talking about the whole getting you thing. And
Yep, talking about coming to get you.
Like, no, I can't come because I have Shiloh.
And she was saying that she doesn't want me to park in the puddles, and I told her that since we're sleeping in the Explorer, that we have to park in the puddle because that's the flat spot is where all the puddles are. And I tried to explain to her, I said, well, do you see puddles on hills or flat spots? She's like, flat spots. I said, well, we have to park in a flat spot so we can sleep in like a level area. So it's give and take. And that's really about all you've missed.
Yeah.
Haven't really said a whole lot else except good morning to everybody that
we'll be here later.
We'll be here later, tuning in later. So, yeah.
They're probably like,
Thank you for letting me know. Wow, it was almost 5 minutes.
I need to eat something.
I mean, we have food. Here, want chocolate? No, yours, then give me one of yours bars over there.
I gave you my bar.
Well, then give me that one, and I'll take this one.
I'm burning myself.
Well, I didn't mean go set yourself on fire.
I do that at least once a week.
Thank you, pyromaniac.
It's not my fault, it's just
There you
natural. And this is from the fire pit. A number got on
Good.
it.
I'm glad you're doing okay. I'm glad you can hear me now. I better keep a better eye on that microphone.
I think we just need to get you a new cord.
No, it's the port in the tower. Need a new computer is what I really need. It's been a bit of a wild night. Pockets and I both woke up like 45 minutes ago on the floor in the living room. All I did had to do was sit up and get the stream ready. That was easy. But yeah, now I'm sitting here eating some chocolate because chocolate's good for restoring your serotonin level. So is orange juice. And having a cigarette. So, yeah. Crazy night last night. Crazy awesome night.
Yeah.
Last night. Oh my god. The Discord party, right? Watched 3 movies.
I feel so bad for them.
I do too.
I must have been really loud.
I feel bad for them as well. Everybody that was in attendance. Because I did my best to talk to everybody and watch the movie for about
20 minutes.
No, about 45. It was about 45 minutes. We started out with Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas,
I had to
and
stop watching that.
there were points where I just couldn't. I mean, all right. So we had our Discord party last night, and this is, I guess, for Lilith. Lilith knows, I believe. I hope. Very safe. Everybody to understand that. Not going to go into whole like no one's ever died and all that stuff. Because whatever. That information's readily available. You can find that anywhere. When I was home with just me and my wife, I locked the doors. We locked the doors. She hung curtains over all the windows. And we got ready for our Discord party. And the reason why we basically closed ourselves off from the outside world last night to have our Discord party is because we were able to obtain ourselves from someplace psilocybin mushroom bars, chocolate bars, 2 of them. Now, funny story how this works. I'm sure you know what a psilocybin mushroom is. A magic mushroom. It's a psychedelic. So we go where we grab the first one, and I open it and I look and I see it's cut into 4 pieces, and I'm looking at the back of the bar, and it says to eat 3 for a microdose and then X amount for, to heal normal trip, and then the whole bar, 9 to 12 pieces to teleport.
Teleport I did.
And it's a way to feel safe. And again, Scotland was there last night.
You were great.
You were great, and thank you for putting up with us,
and being so hilarious.
Yes, thank you.
And
Really, I appreciate the people that were there last night. They didn't I don't know, get all upset. I wouldn't have been able to handle it.
No.
So basically, I read it wrong. So I thought, because there's only 4 pieces in this bar, I was like, well, we should probably go get another one, because 4 is just a little bit more than a microdose. If I was great, it was completely on accident. It was not on purpose. So we did, and then last night we were planning on both eating just a full bar, right? We're gonna go for the full heal, right? We're just gonna go for 4 pieces out of 12. But it melted a little bit, because I pulled it out of the freezer to melt, and when it did, the logo kind of melted, and I didn't see that it was also cut the other way. So each one of those 4 pieces was actually cut into 3 pieces. So each bar was 12 pieces. But we were already planning on eating the full bar, and I was like, for science! So I said, screw it, because I had a friend come in, and he wanted to try, chocolates. Give me the chocolates. So I was like, I'll eat 9 pieces and keep out 3. So that way, my friend comes, I can give him some, and then Pockets did the same. We put ours together. So now my friend has a half a bar to eat. But we ate just about full bars. We ate 9 pieces. So we're into the teleport range.
I'm gone.
I have not gone on a vision quest in fucking years. I've tripped. I've taken psychedelics here and there.
Oops.
These mushroom bars were absolutely fucking insane, and I have no other explanation to give you for description. I have not seen colors like that splashing everywhere I move, and since I took mescaline 26 years ago.
Colors have never wanted me to throw up so bad in all my life.
Very gone. Yes, yeah. You're I was gone. Scotland's very gone. Yeah, she was. I
was happy.
My wife at one point was
I
rolled up.
Been that happy for 9 years.
She was
9 years.
She was rolled up in her blanket.
No, first first it was spread out.
Well, I know, but then
I saw
at some point,
laughing.
I saw my wife rolled up in a blanket and lunging across the dark, because now the room's dark. We started out with the disco ball,
we had to
with
turn that
all
off.
the lights spinning around, and that kept going for about an hour and 15 minutes into Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, and we were like, fuck this, I can't take it no more. Actually, no, we lasted the whole movie.
Yeah.
The whole movie we actually left that on, and it was...
He's I've been debating for the last 45 minutes to put another light bulb.
So then we tried the light.
I'm I will hand you the light bulb.
Then we tried the light bulb, and she goes, turn the
dark.
light on.
It got too bright.
I was like, you sure you want to do this? Are you sure this is going to make it any better?
Yeah, and then it was too bright. I'm like, no, off.
That lasted about a half an hour, and then we turned the lights off. So then I still had a glow sword left over from camp last weekend. It's got green and blue in the blade. So you spin it around and shit, and it makes all these crazy colors and trails, and I was fucking with it so bad.
It was.
Oh.
And then the cat wouldn't stop, and then, oh my god.
It was fun. But basically,
You have 2 up there.
I was talking to one of my friends late last night, and I had a lot of these thoughts as all this was happening, and I peaked for about 3 hours. 3-hour peak, and then I was good for another 3 to 4 hours. I didn't go to bed till about 4:30 in the morning.
My freaking pull string did not work.
And even then, when I went to bed, things were still moving. I actually ended my night having a couple shots of rum, and I think that actually helped me sleep. But total vision quest. not gonna lie, like these mushrooms, they were very, very powerful chocolate bar. And it was very, very intense. A lot of colors and stuff like that, but a lot of intensity, which always comes with a lot of fear. When you take psychedelics, that intensity comes with paranoia, and it comes with fear. And there's actually a point, if you trip so hard, it's called ego death, and it can be terrifying. You actually have to give yourself over to the universe, lose control of yourself, and basically it feels like you're dying, and you have to remake who you are. You have to find yourself in death. It's a very liberating experience. The fear of it obviously isn't the enjoyable part. It's finding you. It's rediscovering who you are. And very much I hit ego death last night. I would close my eyes and just see colors, reds and greens and blues, and just they're all like tentacles just undulating and just mushing and swirling together. Everything. I rubbed my eye and it felt like my face just folded in on itself. Gently, didn't hurt, it's just like my face was half gone. Now, there was no controlling anything.
No.
I was paint. I was part of those colors. That's how my brain was. Everything was just kind of mixing together and swirling about. There's no, and again, that was part of it. That was one of the things actually I came to a realization of, because my wife, she ended up eating as much of her chocolate bar as I did for mine. And she takes very powerful antipsychotics, which actually is a good thing, because if she takes them while she's tripping, it's like an emergency ripcord. They're beta blockers. So they can actually like pull her right out. She didn't, not until we were way coming down. Then she took her meds.
I took them at 1:39, and I still didn't go to sleep till like 3 o'clock. And I was seeing shit still, but I wasn't so like heavy.
But and I said, like, I'm like, are you
always
okay?
need help coming down.
But like, there's no way I can offer her any assistance, because she's going through exactly what I'm going through, and I realized like I can't.
He's just making me laugh harder though.
I can't always help. All I can do is be myself, and again, that went back to what I realized, because of all the darkness, all that, the pressure and fear, the dark. And that's how I guess I kind of visualized it. Was like overwhelming. There was no more light except for myself. I still had light within me. I still had that positive energy. I was positive energy, and if I just started releasing it and being happy and smiling and just dancing with the colors, moving my arms and my legs, and just start enjoying being a drop of water in the ocean, because once that drop of water hits the ocean, I mean, it's lost, right? It just dissipates into everything, and that's exactly how I felt. And I had to just completely give myself over, and once I found that positive energy, that positiveness within myself, I was able to start spreading it outwards, and it started changing the environment to the point where even my wife says, after we were all done last night, she goes, no, that actually helped me too. Your positive energy, it started transforming the room. And that's true with all life. That's everything. We are all that. Negativity is contagious. It's like a wildfire. And I feel a lot of people keep their positive energy inside, like a light bulb that's turned off. But the thing about darkness is it can't touch light. It doesn't matter how dark it is. Light will cut right through it like a sword. And I don't know. It's just given me a new perspective on how I should really live my life and view the world. And this is all why I love psychedelics. I went on a total vision quest. And thank you, Scotland Serenity. It was positive for the whole watch party. He says, I mean, right? I mean, no one wants to listen to someone over here having a bad trip. And I'll tell you this, while we were having the watch party,
I was not trying to eat the couch.
That was funny. While we were having the watch party, there were so many times I wanted to reach over and just click the mute button and be like, I need to stop broadcasting myself for a moment because I am having trouble.
Hey, RoboCop, I'm having trouble.
But I didn't. I wanted to make sure, like, I was partying with everybody, and if we're all at camp, like, together at Locust Lake camping out, and this is happening, like, there's no mute button. You just kind of have to roll with the universe, right? It doesn't matter. So I left it on. Oh, the cat. She's calling the cat. I wonder what she's snapping her fingers for.
Stop saying mom and come here.
But, yeah, man. Good time. Definitely a macro dose, not a micro dose. Did not expect them to hit me like that. Probably would have been just fine with a half a bar. Probably still would have experienced ego death with a half a bar. I have not journeyed like that in ages.
I've never tripped
and
like
she
that
never
life.
has. That was her first vision quest. At one point, I watched my pockets look like my wife looked like a snake
a sandworm.
lunging at the couch to eat it. Like, because she was trying to hurry up and get to the couch, and she was still wrapped up in her blanket.
And somebody made
So
me
she's
laugh.
like lurching forward, and somebody just made her laugh so hard, so she just face planted right into the couch as soon as I turned around. I'm like, oh my god, did my wife snake just try to attack the couch like a snack? And that's exactly what it looked like.
Okay. Cindy's calling me a sandworm, which isn't helping.
My house was infested with sandworms. I told you, the orchid man's gonna take one look. He's gonna turn right the fuck back around. Fuck this. Good times. Very good times. But, yeah, like, everybody that was there,
Thank you for hanging in there.
thank you for, like, well, handling
that.
me.
And me. I gotta say.
Not everybody always likes the party me. And, you know, because some people, and a lot of that comes with misunderstanding.
And nobody's ever.
And this is something, like, I actually just recently learned. I learned that, like, yeah, I've always heard this, but, like, it's true. Nobody's ever died from mushrooms, from magic mushrooms. Nobody's ever died or overdosed. What happens, and this is I've seen people do this. I've seen people eat way too many. Your body, you'll throw them up.
Yep.
And you'll have a bad trip. You're not going to have a lot of fun, especially if you ate way too much and you just keep puking, which I've seen happen. It's actually happened to me once. You're not going to have a great trip. But
I threw up at Big Stock after those mushrooms, but I still had a good trip.
yeah, and most people do. Sometimes you don't stop, and you just have a bad trip where you're just puking the whole time.
But it was like my first time taking mushrooms, and I didn't realize how they tasted.
And it's not like, you know, every 2 seconds or anything like that. It's just like you feel sick the whole time. Or maybe the mushrooms they were bad. And that's actually something that people will die from mold
Yep.
that can grow on the mushrooms. People will die from eating the wrong kind of mushroom. But like eating just a magic mushroom that is clean. I've never gotten sick off of like a chocolate bar. I mean, they're processed in like a factory and stuff like that. So, I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're actually safer than marijuana. That I did not know either. Magic mushrooms are safer than marijuana. And actually, right next to marijuana on the safe list, and I don't think, and this, again, I'm not condoning drug use. Substances hit people differently. I'm only educating you on my experiences and assuring you that I'm always safe. Just to help alleviate that misunderstanding. I am not trying to convince anybody to go out and take psychedelics or start smoking weed or anything like that, or drink. And alcohol is actually the worst. Worst drugs on the planet, people die from, overdose from. First one's meth. Right next to it is alcohol. Everything else is not as bad as alcohol. So the bottle that you're able to just go to the store and buy it and go home with your bottle of poison and start drinking, that's way worse for you than anything else. But right next to weed on that safe list, like it goes mushrooms is the safest, and then it's marijuana, and then right next to marijuana is LSD. Nobody's ever died from LSD, ever, either. And that's something I didn't know, either. There are reports of people flashbacking, stuff like that, and again, those stories are greatly exaggerated. There's only one, out of all the 70s and 60s and everything else that occurred, there's only one documented case of somebody that had a long-lasting effect from taking LSD. It was called Alice in Wonderland syndrome, where you see objects either smaller or bigger than what they actually are. Which is, again, I wouldn't want that either, but like, out of all the people, if all ever in history, there's only one documented case. So safer than cocaine, safer than, anything, safer than alcohol. So I do try my best to be safe. And
I'd rather be washed than dirty.
I don't, absolutely. I don't feel sick after I eat a magic mushroom. Like, I wake up the next morning and I'm not hungover. I'm happy. I feel like I have a greater understanding of the world. And I crave chocolate and orange juice. Which, again, those things make me happy. Alcohol, usually wake up feeling like shit the next day. And it's very hard to move.
That's why.
Oh my god, that sounds like a great idea, Scotland.
What?
It says maybe there should be a creepy story and it needs to be made of a watch party about getting high and a sandworm attacking a couch. No, but I most certainly could turn this into a creepy story. Like, all I have to do is just, like, take out the part where, like, everything was okay. Just make it, like, everything went horribly wrong. There you go. Creepy story. It's already written.
My wife turned into a sandworm.
Pretty inspired by true events.
Thanks. Love you, too. Love you, too.
You're a beautiful sandworm.
Hi.
But Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, I understand now. I've never seen that movie as I'm going into a trip.
The lizard's been in it for me.
That movie is extremely intense.
Yeah.
Every time, like, the main character is like, oh my god, there's so many people around, and there's so many, and I feel so paranoid, and what's going on here? Like, I felt like, oh my god, there's so many people around. What's going on here? What are they doing? And it was the same, a lot of transference. So again, that all kind of just played in with, like, all that fear and paranoia just clouding over everything. And I went inside myself and actually visualized my inner strength. I saw it. It's a pillar of light. Strange as that sounds. Cut right through the darkness. I don't know. It helped me. And that's another thing about psychedelics. You don't usually get the trip that you want, but you almost always get the trip that you need. So, and this was the one I needed. Helped me feel centered. I feel like I can react a little bit more positively and properly to life events and to people.
And that's good for me.
Not just you. It's also good for the guy that's flipping me off as he's passing me on the road, and the guy that's like, whatever. It just goes for people too in general. Like, there's no need to react to negativity with negativity. That does nothing. Nothing. But man, if I can just branch out that positivity, it starts to change the atmosphere, it changes the environment, it changes people's moods, and it starts to become catchy.
That's what Patch did. That was one of his.
I know.
experiments.
Well, okay, I had to take a lot of psychedelics to
Smile
get
test.
there. But
The smile test. I think that's what I.
I
used to
almost like saw the meshwork of the universe.
I
Like,
think
I could see how, I understand that's what he did, but I see why.
Mm-hmm.
I see why that works.
Yeah, you know why? Because he was talking to the crazy smart guy and he saw through the problem.
Yeah, well, I certainly saw through the problem. Right through it. Right to its tie-dye, chewy center.
And I am very happy that I knew he
Oh, that was fun though. No, what? No. Still have internet. Still have excellent connection. Still have microphone. So when can I turn off the air conditioner? I'm gonna turn off the air conditioner. It's getting fucking cold in here.
I don't remember where I put my chocolate bar.
Well, stand by your job.
And I have an 8-pound cat.
So beyond that, I mean, I had a good week this week. I did a lot of work. My boss actually counted over the past 2 weeks. I've gone through, punched out, and fixed ceilings. Completely did ceilings because they put them in after the fact. 30 units. 30 units. Now I'm over in the new section. And, did this big build-out box underneath the window about 20 feet long. Had to have beads and everything on both sides, and another kind of tearaway bead underneath the one side, and the head all be coated back, mixed up with Durabond, dries in 45 minutes, so you gotta move fast. Then I had to slick it back again, and because I was done sanding about halfway through the day, I only had about 3 hours to get this done, and I did. I got it done. So, been working really hard. Boss seems happy. I'm happy. I like working.
He's throwing money at you like a freaking stripper.
No, not anymore. Now he's just giving me my paycheck. So, I'm happy with the paycheck. But yeah. There's nothing like getting up in the morning and being happy about going to work and going to your job. I'm thankful for that every day. Not everybody gets to do that. I didn't even get to do that until recently. So, and going camping at Locust Lake, not this coming weekend, but the weekend after. And I have a few friends that are both going to be meeting me here, and then a few more that are going to be meeting me at the lake. And we're going to party all weekend long, Friday through Monday. So I'm very much looking forward to that. Well, I have impact. Impact equals caffeine, and I love caffeine. Oh.
This is true.
I need caffeine. Oh. I felt like I got hit by a Willy Wonka truck.
That's because we did. The snozberries taste like snozberries.
You know, that they did taste like schnozberries.
Get down. No, I said get down. Oh my god, insulin cat. What the hell? I could have gone over me all weekend. Or all night.
Well, I am hungry. So I am probably going to smoke this cigarette and end the stream a little bit early, just so I can go get something to eat and get myself collected a little bit this morning.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Dude, I took the dog out. The grass was waving at me, okay?
I'll be fine. Happy grass, like Mario. And they're all like the flowers are singing and dancing. And
No, it was just going like this.
was waving you over. Maybe I had something to tell you.
It was just waving.
Yeah, that's the come here wave.
No, I wasn't going. I was not leaving that step.
Maybe they had something important to say.
Yeah, hi. Grass over at Bears needs to be cut.
I will. I'm probably going to eat eggs.
got eggs.
I know. And eggs are high in tryptophan, which is something that your body needs the day after. Just
Why,
like
take a nap?
orange juice too. No, it ups your serotonin levels, so you can actually brings your dopamine and endorphins back to a normative state. Like I said, been doing a lot of research, and a lot of this stuff isn't research. Some of it is, from the research I did a long time ago too. Even in my 20s, and I did a lot of stuff that was probably stupid. Oh, I shouldn't mix these together. Fuck it. But I still did a lot of research and knew what I was getting into before I did. And that I am going to recommend is that if anybody does ever try a psychedelic or anything like that, even if you've never smoked weed before and you're thinking about, hey, maybe I'd like to smoke weed, maybe it would help with my anxiety or whatever, research it, look into it, and don't just look at what medical experts that are getting paid by politicians are saying. Look at actual academic research reports, not just from here but Europe. I think places in Europe are actually, a lot of them, especially on certain subjects, are a lot more trustworthy than American studies. But really dig into it, do your research, learn about it, watch some informational videos. There's actually a lot of really good videos on YouTube that explain how these things work, what they do on your body, how they interact with your brain, why they do the things that they do. And these are all things that you want to know before you make a decision. You want to make an educated decision. Do I really want to consume this and put this in my body and do this to my brain? What is it actually doing? And in the case of mushrooms, psilocybin mimics serotonin. So it connects to your serotonin receptors so that they continuously fire, which is why. But it's natural. It's literally like your brain was hardwired so that psilocybin could go, you could go on these vision quests. That's why no one's ever died from mushrooms. People have taken them for therapeutic purposes for thousands of years. And there's a reason for that. Just like your brain has cannabinoid receptors in it. There's no reason for your brain to have cannabinoid receptors in it unless it's made for cannabis, because there's no other thing that interacts with it except for cannabis and synthetic cannabis, which is extremely bad for you. You can overdose on synthetic cannabis. You can die. So I don't understand why anybody would. I get it. Maybe synthetic cannabis is legal. Illegal cannabis isn't. But I would just smoke weed. It's safer. No one's ever died from weed. But research everything. Everything. LSD? The compound of LSD does not mimic your receptors for serotonin, but what it does is it actually gets stuck in your receptor and it makes it fold over. So the LSD gets trapped inside your serotonin receptor and the brain can't get rid of it. It's trapped. So your brain actually sucks the serotonin receptor inside of itself into the brain so it can break down the LSD compound. That's how LSD works. So it's a little bit different than psilocybin, than mushrooms. And again, that's probably why it's a little bit more dangerous than mushrooms and weed. But again, nobody's ever died from LSD. It's still safer than anything out there, and it's far safer than than alcohol and cocaine. But it's far safer than alcohol. People die from alcohol. More people die from drinking coffee than they've died from mushrooms or anything like weed and LSD. But mushrooms really that's the real highlight there. People have died from water poisoning, drinking too much water, and overhydration than they have from eating mushrooms. So again, if for some reason that information not only makes you not worry about me, but also makes you interested in, oh really, I did not know that. Maybe if I ever saw a chocolate bar, I will pick one of these up and have a chocolate bar. Be very fucking careful. Know what you're doing, and again, research about how you should go about it. It's not something like you just want to eat a chocolate bar and like go to an airport to get on a plane to go somewhere. It's not like cannabis. It's completely different. And it's not a delusionary thing. It doesn't cause schizophrenia. Like, you don't see like a little man walk out of your computer screen and start talking to you, or start talking to a person that's you see literally standing there who does not exist. That's a complete delusionary state, caused by like a schizophrenic episode. And there are drugs out there like deterricides that'll do that. They'll also can kill you. I don't recommend them. I would never take one of those. Fuck that. No. It's basically poison. It can actually give you long-term effects like depression or even like schizophrenia. Like, I wouldn't take those. Long-term memory loss.
Short-term memory loss.
You don't want to take those. LSD and mushrooms aren't like that. You don't see like things like that. Things just kind of like morph and undulate, like kaleidoscope wise. You see like colors and tracers and things when you turn your head or you move. You might see like rainbows behind your like light, just, and it's faint. And it's not like, oh, your whole room is just like filled with solid rainbows that are attacking you. It's not like that. Again, hard to explain, but the feelings that come along with it, because it also affects every part of your brain, not just, what you're seeing. That's also what's happening to your feelings. Your feelings, like every time you swing a feeling around, it's splashing colors across everything. You kind of end up, if you take a certain amount, you lose control. And really even a small amount. That's kind of the point. You're not supposed to be in control. The mushroom is in control. And I heard somebody on a YouTube video recently explain this, that they always think of the mushroom as an entity on its own. It's always like the mushroom wants to show you something, and you can't fight it. But it's your friend, right? It's not going to hurt you. It just wants to show you something. It wants to teach you something. But again, this is not something that you can do in like a public space. And I don't reckon, a lot of people think that like, oh, let's go eat some mushrooms and go out into the middle of the woods, which can be a lot of fun. It can be. The forest, the outdoors, the outside world has a lot of uncontrollable factors. So, or rain or whatever. So while you're on these mushrooms and under psychedelics, things are happening outside your control that could end up, turning your trip into a bad one, especially if you're not experienced. So my recommendation is always an extremely safe place, like most preferably your own home, where you have control over all factors. And have a trip sitter. Have somebody like with you that you trust with your life, a best friend, a spouse, something, and enjoy your trip. Also, be careful who you trip with. I know a lot of people that have taken psychedelics with their significant others, and it has ended their relationships because they just can't. And again, that usually speaks to an underlying problem that was there beforehand. But if you're going to take psychedelics with somebody, you've got to make sure that like this is someone that you trust with your soul. It's very, very easy for your thoughts and your perception to get spun in very negative ways. So you want to make sure that you're with someone that always makes you feel. And again, and it's not like Pockets and I don't ever have an argument. Of course that happens. But at the end of the day, we always come back together. We are best friends, and that has, I think, been a really big enabler of why we can take psychedelics together. And yeah, beyond that, it can be a lot of fun. Always start small. Don't start with like large doses or medium doses. Microdose, especially if you're new. Always start small, and if it's something that you like, then you can take more once you feel you can. Then give it time. Give it some time to kick in. Because like even last night, I was like, oh, though I guess these aren't that great because I'm not feeling anything. And I usually feel like that, like right away. It was like 45 minutes later. I wasn't feeling much of anything.
I was starting feeling a tingling in my head.
10 minutes after that, I was down the rabbit hole. completely gone. And that's why you want to be someplace safe, doors locked, windows covered, with somebody that you trust with your life. And at that point, I mean, nothing can really happen to you. You just kind of let yourself go to the will of the universe, and be surprised what you can learn about really anything. Opens up your mind. It expands things. What happens when you take psychedelics is it shuts down the logic center of your brain and the normal pathways. That's why it becomes so hard to focus and think logically when you're tripping. But your brain creates, because of this, it creates temporary alternate pathways for thinking. That's why thinking outside the box becomes so easy when you're tripping. That's why psychedelics, microdose and macrodose for depression, large doses of psychedelics are actually really good for depression. And that's why. Because it helps your brain create new temporary pathways, and if you reinforce these pathways with positive feedback, you can actually get the brain to use these temporary pathways as new permanent pathways, and you can effectively help re-hardwire someone's brain and way of thinking. Like my wife, again, I was talking about this last night. She's got borderline personality disorder, and she's been diagnosed with a bunch of other different things, but this is what I know that she has. It's also why it's very hard to find a treatment that works for her, or a medication, because there is no medication for a borderline personality disorder. It has to be backed up with like therapy, and she doesn't really have like a face-to-face therapy. She does like over the phone, and it's only every once in a while. And some of the medications she's on are very strong, and can be very dangerous, and they're not good for her liver. And I'd like to get her off of them. But the problem is for a borderline personality disorder, there is no quick fix. But her doctor actually is on my side, and he recommended that, yeah, I'm right, that psychedelics, if she could microdose every once in a while, he would take her off of the harder medication that she's on. And with these, I will actually, and again, I do have a bachelor's in psychology and a master's in management. I got halfway through a doctorate in psychology before I had to quit because I ran out of funding. So, I mean, I do have a little bit of knowledge in the area. I know about different therapies and different approaches and how they need to be reinforced and stuff like that. And I honestly feel that I have an approach, a therapeutic approach for being able to help my wife. And even over the past couple of weeks, I've seen vast improvements. So, it's been 46 minutes. I think I'm just going to hang out now for the full hour. I'll get something to eat after. So I'll be on for an hour. Another, 13 and a half minutes, something like that. Yeah, I'll cook your eggs, honey. Tryptophan. Body needs tryptophan. That's actually something new I learned. I knew it needed vitamin C and stuff like that. I didn't know tryptophan was like so helpful the day after, going on a journey. It's good to know. I like these things. Alright, I need to read some of these messages. Came in at the right time. Oh, fuck yeah, you did. Oh, man, Fuzzy last night was insane. Oh my, it was apps. I felt like a broken glow stick. Every time I turn, like you have a broken glow stick and you fling it around, right? And it just starts splashing color all over everything. This glowing colors, it's splashed. Every time I turned or moved my head or turned my body, like I felt like my whole body was a broken glow stick. I would just splash sparkles of colors and trails of light on fucking everything. Oh, it's been a long time. And I'm not sure I've ever taken mushrooms that good. Like, I've taken mushrooms very strong before. Once at a music festival is the one that comes to mind. Those were probably the strongest I ever took. But that was also like one of the first times I ever took mushrooms. These ones are probably about as strong as those, if not stronger. And if they are, then these are the strongest mushrooms I've ever had. I don't know if they were... And the strongest ones I ever have, I believe, were penis envy. There are a few others that are a lot stronger, though. And I don't know what we had last night, but I have a feeling it was one of the, stronger than penis envy mushrooms. Oh, it was insane, my friend. I found myself. I literally was broken down to nothing but molecules and spread across the universe. And I keep coming back to this analogy, but yeah, I felt like a drop of water thrown into the ocean. Where, like, I just lost my sense of self. There was no me anymore. There was no fighting the will of the universe. I'm going to go where the water's taking me. I'm going to go where the ocean says. I have no definition. I have no outside edges anymore. It was amazing. Amazing. Again, had an actual, like, vision quest last night. Very, very, very cool. And, yeah. And again, very safe environment. I had a lot of great friends on Discord, all talking and listening to everything that, like, I'm spilling out. And Somber, man. Like, that guy speaks up. There's no mistaking it. Like, Dog Lover sounded a little bit like Mia every once in a while last night. And same thing with, like, Bathsheba when she would speak up. Like, I kept kind of, like, I wasn't looking at the screen, so I didn't see whose voice was lighting up. And I kept getting confused about who the hell was talking. And same thing with, like, you know, PA Nightmares and stuff like that, with his Scottish, Irish accent, and then Scotland Serenity. Kept getting confused. But then Somber speaks up and he's like, yo. And it was like, again, I didn't even know he was, like, I forgot Somber was in the Discord. I forgot he was still there. I thought maybe he fell asleep or whatever. As I was lost, right? I'm just a puddle of tie-dye puke all over the floor. And I heard, yo. And it was like the room just lit up with, like, this warm glow. Because I've been hanging out with Somber for, like, 4 years. Every week for, like, 4 years. He's become a very, very good friend of mine. So it was just nice. Like, he was like my buddy just walked into my living room. Very funny. Very distinctive voice. So that was, I don't know. I had a lot of fun. There was a lot of people there last night. Felt good to sit down and talk with PA Nightmares a bit. Felt good to actually sit and talk with Scotland Serenity. I don't think we've ever actually VC'd before. It was cool to see Mia and Bathsheba there. Like, I haven't seen them in a while, like a long while. So, like, that was fun. It did feel kind of weird to, like, just strip away all my flesh and bare my naked soul over the microphone and, like, who I am. But there was no fighting it. You know, the only thing I could have done is turn off the microphone. I can't control what I say. I can't control what I do. I can't control how I sound. And I don't want to feel self-conscious about it. So I gotta kind of just roll with it. The only other choice I have is turn off the microphone. And I wasn't gonna do that. So I appreciate it, guys. I really do. I love you people. Good people. Good friends. Oh, Pimp Demon. Pimp Demon 2. Oh my god. Kept cutting in. Funny shit. And he got to experience. I'll be seeing him on Thursday for bar night. I'm sure he's going to tell me about all the things that I've forgotten. After that, we watched Shrooms. Well, I put Shrooms on. Again, it was a horror movie, and I don't know. I watched bits and pieces of it, like the part when the cow was talking to the guy when he's tripping his balls off in the woods. That was fucking hilarious. Even Pockets, I can't remember what the cow said, but, like, even Pockets started just dying laughing on the floor. That's good. No, that's good if you can get your brain to that point. And again, that happens with experience. Like, once you've tripped a few times or a good amount of times, like, and it's not about control. It's not like, oh, he's experienced enough to be able to control it and have a good trip. It's actually the exact opposite. It's that, oh, he's experienced enough to let go and know himself and have a good trip. The only time that anybody has ever died off of, like, tripping is, like, they ran out and killed themselves. That has actually happened. And it's not the drug that kills them. It's just... And I guess you could say, but I wouldn't say it is. I would say that person just probably shouldn't have taken them. Usually someone's got to be in a pretty bad mental state to go there. Maybe have a trip sitter, like I said. Again, sounds like somebody that's really inexperienced, doesn't know what they're doing, and just kind of goes into it willy-nilly. Oh yeah, no, you can. I know you can. My brain unlocks things naturally on its own. Sometimes I'll just be at work, man. I'll see colors fly through the air, or I'll see like almost like an oil slick in the air, just kind of like wave over everything and move to the right, like the world is a giant invisible predator. Or I get flashbacks every now and then. It's not all the time. And yeah, I know how to like enhance it or awaken it if I need to. But the truth of the matter is, if you've got a strong mind, we don't need psychedelics. And they just open up different pathways in your brain. Not everybody needs to. Some people have a great handle on the world. Some people have a great handle on themselves. Most people might not need those kinds of experiences. I myself have found that I benefit from them. Very much so. I was always a very depressed individual when I was younger, man. Very depressed. And I think that really these types of things are what has helped me. Not completely. There's been other things that have helped me too, obviously. But nothing's really ever expanded my mind and opened my eyes to the way things are like psychedelics do. And that's just how my brain works. But yeah. Yeah, that's what you would have to do. Train from a very young age. But again, sounds like you just have a strong mind overall, which I congratulate you on. That's awesome. And again, like intaking like of psychedelics, it's not for everybody. This information again that I've given is not to convince anybody to do this. It's just kind of to provide explanation for myself and offer a bit of reassurance. Hardest time going through your thoughts. Everything was glowing and I felt like I was underwater. I could make objects come to life. Yep. That sounds like a good trip. That sounds, yeah. First off, yeah, you're not going to be able to have coherent thoughts. All these things I've said about like the darkness in the world and being a pillar of light that cuts through it and just releasing positivity and changing the atmosphere, or I can't always be there to help my wife. Sometimes I've got to let go and just trust that she's going to be able to, make it through on her own. I know that she's strong. I can be her Virgil. I can be her guide, but I can only guide her to the next challenge, and she has to do those challenges on her own. I thought of all these things last night while I was tripping face, but there was no goddamn way I was putting words to these things. All you heard from me is, I am light. I am light. Now, what that meant was I was surrounded by darkness, and I have found the light within myself, and now I am cutting through it like a sword, and I am spreading positivity everywhere like a tree with branches all made of light. And that's why I was just, I am light. I am light. That's all I could spit out. That was the most coherent sentence that I could muster. Spent half an hour talking to arguing apples. That's hilarious. I once, when I was tripping, again, the time I said I took those really strong mushrooms a long time ago, and I had a fly land on my arm, and then I slapped it because I tried to kill it, and then it flew away. I felt bad for like 2 hours. It was the fly with the hurt feelings. He was just landing on me. He was just saying hello, and I tried to kill him. The way your brain thinks when you take psychedelics can be a lot of fun. It can be really funny. And that is, one of the main attractive attributes about it. But just remember that what you're taking, it is stronger, safer, yes, but still stronger than weed. safe environment, and don't just go and just buy it to a store and be like, oh, a mushroom bar? Pff, legal chocolate mushrooms? This can't be that great. And then it'd be great. So, very strong. I've actually found that the store-bought mushrooms have actually tended to be stronger than the ones I've ever gotten not from a store. The consistency of the potency is there. Alright guys, I am going to roll a smoke, get it lit, and I am going to let you go so I can go make some eggs. And yeah, tryptophan, food sounds amazing. Eggs and orange juice. Oh, king's breakfast today. I have less filters in a way than your average person now in my consensus. That's good. Well, you too, Scotland. Thank you very much for stopping in this morning and also hanging out with me last night. And again, all the way from across the pond. That is fucking cool. Scotland Serenity, like, tuning in from halfway across the fucking world. I've just always found that awesome. And a bit of an honor. Damn bar. It explodes in color. Exactly. Yeah, don't. That's what a lot of people do. Right there. As I light this cigarette out, that just last thought. Like, that's what a lot of people do. And I've actually read news articles on this time and time and time again. Some newbie that has never done mushrooms before, has no idea what they're doing, has never done any research on anything. And they write this news article. Oh, I went to my weed store today to go get some edibles, and they said they had these things called a magic mushroom bar, and I didn't know that these were legal, so I picked up one, and I thought that I could handle it because I've been taking weed for so long, and I've been eating edibles so much, so I figured I would be fine. And oh my god, I ate the chocolate bar, and it completely fucked my world up. I was completely gone. Like, holy shit, these things are... And every time I read one of these articles, it's like I want to reach through my monitor screen and slap this motherfucker in the face. Like, you're upside the head. What were you thinking? Research before you put anything in your fucking body. Go online. Google is a great thing, man. It's on your cell phone. It's at your fingertips. Just ask. It'll tell you, no, you're not supposed to eat this and go to a fucking airport. You don't, if you've never eaten mushrooms before, you probably don't want to eat the whole fucking chocolate bar. I can't believe people. You have told me that. I forgot. And Fuzzy's coming all the way from the Netherlands. And I'm sorry, and again, across the pond. Amazing. Amazing. I fucking love you guys. I do. Thank you for you, like, tuning in and just listening to me fucking ramble sitting in my living room, cigarette, about all my experiences. Ain't nobody special. I have good friends. I noticed this last night, too. It was, like, all good people. My wife, my Discord, and, like, I was looking at my wife, like, do you notice that there's no dickheads? I surround myself with really good people. Like, it's awesome. Also, don't go near graveyards. Yeah, no. Don't. Probably not. Again, I would recommend stay home. And if you've never taken a psychedelic before, man, start with 1 to 3 little pieces if it's a 12-piece bar. Go for a microdose. Just find out what you're getting into before you just down an entire fucking chocolate bar. It's not like marijuana at all. Yep. I just don't understand. And I get that, you know, and back then, yeah. But even back when, like, there were no PCs and no computer, or, like, and phones, like, all prevalent and shit, what did people do? They asked the older guys. They asked the older guys with the mustaches and the tie-dye shirts, and those guys would give words of wisdom and they would let them know. It's like people don't want to listen to other people anymore. It doesn't matter if they have the experience or not. And again, I don't understand that mindset, but in the end, you're just going to fuck yourself. You don't want to listen, you don't want to Google, you want to go into things without even thinking about it or researching anything. Yeah, well, this is why Darwinism is a thing. I mean, I will leap without looking, but not with, like, chemicals and substances and stuff like that. Like, you want to know what you're putting in your body. Like, yeah, I like to have fun. I like to party. But, like, I don't want to die. Like, I'm not looking for death. Like, I'd like to stay alive. That's the whole point. So I'm very conscious about what I do. And I think that's just a big part of it. You got to be conscious. You got to think. And a lot of people just don't think as much. They should start, maybe. Don't really have any other advice, but you got to look at what you're doing, man. I don't want to die. And I don't want you guys to die. I'm sure most people out there don't want to die either. Just be smart. And yeah, I party like an animal. I'm crazy. And I've got more energy in me than most people do that are like 2/3 my age. By far. Blow them right out of the goddamn water. Just remember, like, got limits. Be smart. As hard as I party, I'm smart. Like, I'm not saying like I am smart, but I'm smart enough to, like, you know, research and be careful. And what should I do before? And what should I do after? And how does this affect me? What should I take with it? What shouldn't I take with it? All good questions to ask. And a big part of that is the medications my wife is on. Because I have to research to see how these things are going to interact with what she's taken. So, I'm going to end the stream. Wanted to let you guys just, know how the night went. Next week's video, I got to get Shiloh to record her lines and then dub them in. But the rest of the video is done, so it should go really quick. She's not coming home till tomorrow. So I should have the premiere page up Monday or Tuesday night for this coming weekend, which is the Chronicles of Shiloh 3. 3, right? Yeah, 3 is the third one, part 3. 4-part miniseries. This is part 3. I have to write part 4 this week because I have to narrate it this weekend. So, if by chance I don't get it done, I'm just going to swap it out with a new Jeff the Killer story that I've got cooked up with me and a co-writer. It was actually co-written with Mary P. Mary helped me write the new Jeff the Killer story. I really think you're going to like it. I've been saving it for the end of September, but I might need to swap it just so I can get the Chronicles of Shiloh written. So, we'll see. Either way, I fucking love you people. Thank you so much for putting up with everything that is me. And that in itself is like trying to stuff 10 pounds of shit into a 5-pound bag. I fucking love you guys. And I hope to see you this coming Saturday once I get the premiere page up. And have a fantastic day. Please be safe out there. Stay creepy and